Hey everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we're going to look at all 8 questions of the CELPIP speaking exam, and I'll give you sample answers that'll guaranteed score a 12. After these answers, with each question, I'll tell you why they're going to score 12 and how you can use the same example, the same guide to score a 12, guaranteed in CELPIP speaking. Let's check out question number 1. Remember, this is going to be your first question. Talk about one of your best friends, which is not really a marked question. This is there just for practice. The first question starts here. Your dad is struggling with weight gain. Advise him how he can develop some healthy eating habits to fight obesity. Let's check out the answer. This answer is going to score a band 12 easily in CELPIP speaking. Let's check out how this is said. I want you to pay attention to my emphasis, tone, wordings, pace, and all those great things, as well as the timer, which is going to start right now. Hey Dad, I know you have been grappling with weight gain, and I'd like to offer some advice on cultivating healthier eating habits. Mainly, you want to prioritize a diet abundant in vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and whole grains. These nutrient-dense foods can sustain your energy levels and keep you satiated. I know it's hard, but you've got to learn how to minimize the consumption of processed foods that you get from Walmart. They're killing you from inside. Next, let's talk about meals and water. You have to consider adopting the practice of consuming smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. This can enhance your metabolic rate and stave off the temptation to overeat. Let's not ignore your hydration issue. Since you consume almost no water throughout the day, please incorporate drinking ample water, since it can help regulate your appetite and prevent the confusion between thirst and hunger. My final suggestion for you is to add healthy fats to your diet from sources like avocados, nuts, and olive oil. I know it sounds counterproductive to add fats, however, healthy fats are beneficial and can help keep you satisfied longer. I need you to adapt to this new diet starting tomorrow. I can assure you that embracing these changes, you'll be well on your way to developing sustainable, healthy eating habits. Let's understand why this is going to score 12. First of all, structure is perfect. Your intro, you have your greeting for the dad, as well as addressing the question. Then you got your first, second, and third points. Each point starts with a connector, which is unique in every paragraph, or every time you mention a new point. That shows your range. Then you have your conclusion, rephrasing your opinion that was said earlier. The tone throughout is informal, which is based on the question. Hey Dad, again, it's not how are you? You don't say that to your dad. You mostly live together. I know you have been, so you know about him. You also know that he shops at Walmart. And let's not ignore your hydration issue, again showing you know the things about your dad, which is how you would talk to this person in real life. Then you have a range of sentences, phrases, and expressions. They're things like they're killing you from the inside. Let's not ignore. Now let's talk about my final suggestion for you is these are all different ways you're expressing yourself, and you're at the same time using advanced words like adapt. You're using good adjectives like sustainable, appetite instead of just food habits. Every opportunity you see to use good words, you do. Every time you can add adjectives instead of proteins. What type of proteins? Lean proteins. Another adjective, whole grains, not just grains. Then you have plenty of examples of different how you could explain the type of food your dad is supposed to consume. You're talking about how the water consumption is supposed to happen throughout the day. So it's a lot of detail, a lot of in-depth description that is going to show the examiner that you have perfectly addressed the task response. Between each point, there was a long pause. Between sentences, there were pauses, and overall the tone was natural, giving this question full marks. Question number 2, talk about your favorite movie. You can talk about a movie you watched recently or a movie you have watched multiple times. Explain why the movie was so memorable for you. The answer is right here. Let's start our timer. One of my favorite movies is Inception, a film I've watched numerous times. Directed by Christopher Nolan, it captivates me with its intricate narrative and profound themes. The concept of shared dreaming and the exploration of the subconscious is both intellectually stimulating and visually mesmerizing. The film's layered structure, with dreams within dreams, demands active engagement and repeated viewings to fully grasp its complexity. Additionally, the compelling performances, particularly by Leonardo DiCaprio, bring emotional depth to the story. The movie's hauntingly beautiful score by Hans Zimmer further enhances the experience, creating an immersive atmosphere. What makes Inception memorable for me is its ability to blend mind-bending science fiction with deeply human emotions, offering a cinematic journey that is as thought-provoking as it is entertaining. Do I even need to explain why this is going to score full marks? Obviously, this is packed with great wordings and vocabulary. First of all, it's realistic, so it's easy to define with specific details like names. Then you have multiple points. You have about 3 to 5 points here which are explained in detail. You have a lot of adjectives: profound, intricate, mind-bending science. It's not just the adjectives that are there, it's just how advanced they are as well. Plus, we have adverbs too, whenever you have a chance to use adverbs with lease, deeply, hauntingly, visually, intellectually. Use them, they all add up to your range of vocab. You have a good intro, one of my, start with that, and then go into the detail. And then at the end, you do a little conclusion. Once again, every time when I was using adjectives, the emphasis was loud, and it seemed like I was interested in this movie. It was coming from a place of genuine interest and excitement. So when I said words like mesmerizing, there is emphasis to that. So make sure to include that as well and make it natural. Plus, use plenty of good connectors when you have a long, detailed answer like this, or use good pauses between sentences. Speaking question number 3, describe what is happening in the picture. You guys can pause the video and try to attempt this picture yourself if you would like. The timer is 1 minute, 30 seconds preparation. We right now are going to jump right into the answer and start our timer right now. In the illustration, there is a chaotic scene unfolding in what appears to be a historical setting. A woman, dressed in an apron and bonnet, sits in the center, looking distressed, while a man to her left, possibly a doctor or a figure of authority, is examining her wrist. Surrounding them are several animated characters exhibiting exaggerated expressions of shock, concern, and curiosity. One man in a blue coat is carrying a stack of bowls labeled cock broth. Another figure, dressed in rustic attire and holding a pitchfork, appears agitated, gesticulating wildly. The atmosphere is one of pandemonium, with every character reacting dramatically to the situation. The detailed and colorful nature of the illustration, combined with the vivid expressions, suggests a satirical commentary on a medical or social event. Timeout. I am scaring you guys. Is this truly the vocab you need for your CELPIP exam? No, not really. But if you ask me what an answer worth 12 points looks like, this is it. Advanced vocab to the top. It's the pinnacle of the pinnacle. However, if you use slightly basic words, not too basic, but slightly basic compared to this, just make sure it's above average. That'll do as well. For example, look at the last sentence. The detailed and colorful nature of the illustration, do that. It shouldn't be that hard to do. Combined with vivid expressions. And again, this is one thing you have been noticing. A lot of sentences are complex in our answers. So this is a complex sentence. You can use this too. It starts another part of the detail. So add that other extra detail. It helps in making the sentence complex. Suggests a satirical commentary. And so satirical, you can say a joyous or a funny or amusing commentary on a medical or social event. Or you can just finish with commentary. So there are ways you can make this less complex, more doable for you, but this is the best of the best. If you ask me to make a video on the very best answers, this video is it, okay? So don't be intimidated. However, look at the words: gesticulating, pandemonium, and again, the description of the things is very accurate. Pitchfork, and then there was bonnet. Things like these you might not know or you might know. If you do, if you have that vocab, it really helps in describing the picture. But don't worry about the exact content, the exact things they're wearing or the images on the picture. If you can just do the adjectives with expressions, you're going to win the examiner's heart. So you have shock, concern, and curiosity. You are agitated. And then there are things like distressed. So you have words that are expressing the events in the picture, and those words are always different. You're using a variety of adjectives. While I was using adjectives, you were also noticing how I was exaggerating them. Okay, look at the structure. We start with in this illustration, not basic words like in this picture I can see. You define everything, and then at the end, you do a little summary of the whole event transpiring. That's it. Let's go to the next question. Question number 4, it is the same picture, and the question simply says, what do you think will happen next in this picture? We're going to start with our answer, and we'll start our timer right away. In the ensuing moments, I surmise that the scene will escalate into further disarray. The man examining the woman's wrist might diagnose a peculiar ailment, prompting a flurry of activity among the onlookers. The gentleman with the bowls of cock broth could attempt to offer a remedy, causing the other characters to react with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Meanwhile, the agitated individual with the pitchfork may exacerbate the chaos by demanding explanations or questioning the doctor's competence. The woman, still in evident distress, might faint or react dramatically, heightening the tension. Ultimately, the situation could spiral into a series of overlapping dialogues and exaggerated actions, each character contributing to the overall anarchy in their unique animated manner. Once again, the tumultuous progression would underscore the satirical nature of this illustration. One thing you can use to drastically improve your marks is use words like illustration and other words here that I'll show you in a second that will help you improve your marks. Now, we always say picture. In this picture, this is what's going to happen. Now, you want to stand out, you have to, because you need to be advanced. So use illustration instead of picture. That's what we did in part 3 as well. And these are the other words that are connectors as well as advanced wordings. When you start, you can start with in the ensuing moments. That's how you start. First thing, you can use a connector here, but we have more later on, so I didn't feel the need to use it here. Remember, and you can replay this, when you don't have connectors, you just pause between sentences. Now later we have meanwhile, then we have ultimately, and the finish is once again. All right, you could use to conclude and stuff, but that's more suitable for paragraphs or long answers. So here once again fits well. And again, these connectors give you marks for connections, task response, structure, multiple marks, because you're organizing thoughts really well while using good vocabulary. Once again, this is all a prediction, so you can make up stories of whatever you feel is relevant or whatever comes to mind. And again, make sure to use a combination of good adverbs, lees everywhere, as well as good adjectives, exaggerated, animated, all these great things. Make sure to use advanced words and pause every time you have to think. If you have noticed so far, that's what I do. When there's one sentence that's done, pause, because you got to think in the next second what you have to say, then pause, and so on. Part 5 is where you compare and persuade the other party that your option is better than theirs. You guys can have a look at the question. I'll summarize it for you. And eventually, in this question, we have decided to go with this option. So the parents want you to focus on extra studies. These are their reasons, while you want to focus on sports, and these are your reasons. So we'll speak on this for 60 seconds. And in this, remember, it's about comparing. So you don't just say points that you like, but also criticize the points from the parents, all right? All of this has to be done in a minute, and if you can show the examiner you can do all of this in a minute, you gain a lot of marks. Let's have a look at this example and see how can we realistically do this. Let's start our timer, 1 minute. Hi, Mom and Dad. I get that you guys think extra study is crucial. However, I believe playing sports has way more benefits. Sports are great for health, which is essential, while sitting for extra study can be entirely sedentary. Plus, sports give me the chance to meet new people in a more dynamic environment, unlike social media friends who I might never actually meet. Competing professionally in the future is a real possibility with sports, offering tangible achievements, whereas career opportunities online are often uncertain. Moreover, sports give a much-needed break from routine, helping to refresh and rejuvenate my mind, unlike spending more time on social media, which can become monotonous. So, while I understand your point, I think engaging in sports provides a more balanced and enriching experience. One of the main mistakes students make is they just talk about their options and they don't compare it with the other side. And that's what I mentioned at the start. Now, how to avoid this is don't do that. All right, just compare both sides. Use words like however, nonetheless, nevertheless. This is informal, so we'll use however. And we mention our side. Look, extra study is crucial. However, I believe playing sports has way more benefits. So I understand this point of yours. You want me to do this, but I want to do this. And then you explain your benefits. This is essential, while extra study can be just sedentary. Okay. Plus, sports does this for me, but social media friends would do this for me. So it's always your points and why they're good, and then compare with the other side and tell the parents why their points kind of suck. Now, in this case, we have, hi, mom and dad, be careful with this stuff. If you meet mom and dad often, most likely you're not going to say, how are you? If you're a grown-up, maybe you won't. But in this case, your parents are choosing for you, so you're probably a teenager living in their home. We're not going to say, how are you? And you just get to the point. Remember also, this question demands a good use of your time. You got to do all these points under a minute so we don't waste too much time on the intro. And look at the tone that I had. It was always exciting when I was mentioning my point, and it was a little down when I was mentioning the other side because I want to be negative about that. So remember to keep it that way. It does really well for your comparison, and that's what the question is all about. Comparing, not just talking about your benefits. Question number 6 asks you to choose between two options. Here's the question. Your partner and her friends are hanging out with you. You all want to go watch a comedy movie in the cinema, but your partner prefers a horror movie. Convince your partner to watch a comedy with you, or convince your friends to agree to watch the horror movie with your partner. In this case, we have chosen option number 1, and we'll speak on this now for a minute. We'll try to be informal and give good reasoning why we want our partner to change their mind. Hey, honey, listen, I completely understand that you're keen on watching a horror movie, but just hear me out. If we watch a comedy film, it can be a very cool and lighthearted experience, which can be a refreshing change from our mundane routine. Horror movies, though thrilling, might not appeal to everyone in our group, potentially dampening the overall mood. This is why I think that by choosing a comedy, we can ensure everyone has a good time, creating a shared sense of enjoyment. Also, we can plan a horror movie night just for us later, making it a special occasion. This way, we balance both preferences without compromising the group's harmony. I think it's a fair compromise. At the end of the day, we all get to enjoy our evening together while still respecting your love for horror films on another occasion. A couple of elements here that are important. One thing is it is informal. So you want to use words like, hey, honey, actually address the person. I see a lot of students just start with the reasoning. Look, I understand that you need this. No, address the person first, okay? So you then talk about the situation, give your reasoning. Look at the words here. This is why, and also, if you've been following our channel, we use much more advanced words, like something like this at the end of the day, but we're using on purpose more, not very basic, but simplified words, more advanced than day-to-day conversation, or you can say low-frequency words that other people won't use more often. And we're doing that because we have to keep it informal. If I talk to my wife and say, moreover, therefore, then it's a problem. That's not how normal people talk. Also, the other element is you always want to give an alternative at the end of this question because you mostly deliver a bad news. So you have another alternative that we can plan a horror movie night for us later on. This is a great template to use. Also, we can do this, or on the other hand, we have this other advantage or opportunity. Why don't we open our minds to this one? Talk about the other side as well. Remember, throughout, the tone is you kind of being guilty, but at the same time being convincing, so fluctuate your volume accordingly. Question number 7. All cars should be electric in order to save the environment. People who disagree should have to pay extra environmental fees. Wow, do you agree? Well, in this answer, we got to be a little more aggressive than usual because it is a debate-based question. You got to give 3 points, and this is for 90 seconds, starting now. I firmly believe that all cars should be electric, and the naysayers should pay extra environmental fees. Mainly, the detrimental impact of fossil fuel emissions on our planet is undeniable. These emissions contribute significantly to climate change, air pollution, and numerous health problems. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, produce zero emissions, significantly reducing our carbon footprint and improving air quality. Moreover, while the initial cost of EVs might appear prohibitive, this can be mitigated through government incentives and subsidies. These financial aids make electric vehicles more accessible to the general public. Additionally, EVs offer long-term savings on fuel and maintenance costs, making them a financially sound investment. Thus, the economic barriers to adopting EVs can be effectively addressed. Lastly, imposing extra environmental fees on those who choose traditional vehicles serves a dual purpose. It acts as a deterrent against the continued use of polluting vehicles and helps offset the environmental damage caused. These fees can be utilized to fund sustainable infrastructure and renewable energy projects, thereby benefiting society as a whole. In conclusion, mandating electric cars and enforcing environmental fees on dissenters is essential for fostering a sustainable future. It's imperative to act decisively for the planet's well-being. Went a little bit aggressive? Absolutely. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Emphasize our points, really kind of be loud here and show that you really care about what you're talking about. Although I believe something completely opposite, but I wrote something on the other side. Anywho, we would start with the intro, mention the opinion, 3 reasons, 1, 2, 3, and your conclusion, rephrasing your opinion. The conclusion becomes an important and integral part in your speaking because this is where you can emphasize again how strongly you believe in this and really make that ending impact. Again, use good connectors when transitioning between paragraphs, as this one has as well. And again, at the end, you want to show the assertiveness. Plus, remember, with all these points, we're giving examples, not just saying do this, but why do this. So explaining the why and how, not only in this question, but in every speaking question, is important for task response. And overall, just have a normal tone, but a little aggressive. This is usually really good for students who lack emphasis, because here you don't need much. You're not really talking to a formal or informal person, but keep your aggression. Our 8th and final question. You are in a reptile museum when you notice a cat inside a lizard cage. Call the zoo owner and explain what you see. Explain the possible problems with the situation. Describe the image in detail. Let's start our timer. Hello, I'm currently at your reptile museum and I've noticed a very concerning situation. There is a cat inside the lizard cage, which is highly problematic. The cat is interacting with a lizard, pawing at it in a manner that could easily lead to injury or stress for the lizard. This scenario poses several issues. The cat might harm or even kill the lizard, leading to the potential loss of valuable and possibly endangered reptiles. Additionally, the presence of a predator in the lizard's habitat is causing undue stress to this reptile, which can have long-term health consequences. Moreover, the hygiene and safety protocols of the exhibit are clearly compromised. I believe your immediate action is required to safely remove the cat and ensure such breaches do not occur again. Thank you for your prompt attention, and please let me know if you need any more information. Here you don't have to start with any name because this is a formal thing. You're calling someone as if you're leaving a voicemail. So you can say, hey management, but who says that? Nobody says, hey management. It's better to just say hello. And again, we're thinking we're leaving a voicemail. Usually it's the case in part 8. Unless they mention that the person is interacting with you, then you can say, how are you? But otherwise, hello is enough for formal conversations. For informal conversations, hey, okay? And you mentioned the situation. I'm currently here, and this is a very concerning situation. Going to our point right away, because we gotta explain so much more. There is a lot of the picture that needs describing, but how this is different from parts 3 and 4 is because you have to add this element at the start of conversing with someone, and also at the end where you have a conclusion. Sometimes the question tells you how to conclude, or sometimes you have to make it up. And in this case, if I am talking about a concerning situation like this, I will ask if they need any information from me. and that we need their prompt action. Once again, good vocabulary, good range, emphasis is used, but not too much. It's mostly describing what's happening in the picture, and it's more of a serious tone here. That's why it wasn't too exciting. It wasn't a big volume fluctuation. But if it was a birthday party I was describing, I would absolutely exaggerate that a little bit more. So make sure you pace your volume and emphasis based on the situations that are presented, and a good description of the picture is mentioned, as well as your opinions. The picture does not say that these are endangered reptiles. It doesn't say there's going to be injury or stress. It doesn't say there are going to be long-term health consequences. But guys, this is the picture. There's not much here to say. So if you have a minute, you have to make up your assumptions, conclusions, and opinions, and that helps in describing the picture in detail. Once again, make sure to review this, play this video again, and really digest everything that you have learned here, and try to then answer these questions yourself. Can you hit all this marking criteria? If you can score a 12 too. If you're unable to, please email us at info@hzadeducation.com. Subscribe, like, and share this video and learn from our content. You will easily be able to pass your CELPIP exam. We guarantee it. All the best.